What if your backyard could literally pay your mortgage or keep your college kid, your mom, and your sanity all in the same property? Oklahoma City just flipped a huge switch for homeowners. Tiny homes in backyard, technically accessory dwelling units or ADUs, are now legal in a big chunks of the metro area. And that's a game changer if you own a property anywhere near the city center. Here is what that actually means. If your house sits in the Oklahoma City core area, roughly between I-35 on the east, I-44 on the Northwest Expressway on the north and west, and down towards Southwest 59 on the south, you may now be allowed to add a small second home in the backyard. A granny flat, a garage apartment, guest house, whatever you want to call it. The city calls them backyard dwellings. It comes from the new ordinance the city council passed after more than a year of back and forth. And it lets you build one ADU by right on the qualifying single family lot closer to downtown and surrounding neighborhoods, as long as you follow the rules. By right is lawyer's talk for you don't have to go through a big public rezoning and defend your project to every neighbor with a Facebook account. City planners, realtors, even ARP folks showed up and say, please, please, please let people build those because Oklahoma City is short roughly 45,000 housing units right now. Let's talk why the city even did this. Leaders are looking at ADUs as a pressure valve, more affordable options for students, young professionals, older parents who wants to stay closer to the family without moving into the big apartment complex. ARP shared data showing most people over 50 want to age in place. And before you start sketching your dream Airbnb empire on the napkin, there are few rules. Only one accessory dwelling per lot. It has to stay within heights and the square footage limits. And total buildings and paving still can't cover more than half of the lot in many cases. The city still cares about setbacks, access, how people will park. So you have to size wise. Oklahoma City caps accessory dwelling at just under 1,000 square feet. In a lot of national examples, those end up in around 400 to 800 square foot range, which is plenty for studio or one bedroom if it's designed well. Parking isn't actually as scary as people were thinking because many of Oklahoma older centrally located neighborhoods are close to the transit and bike lanes, and the city only requires extra parking for an ADU if your street is really, really narrow or the unit gets on the larger side. And no, you cannot just pave over the front yard. Any new parking has to be backed out of the site so the street doesn't start looking like the used car lot. A lot of homeowners ask, is this going to turn my street into the investor row? Well, the reality is big investors rarely bother with ADUs. The math doesn't work like it does for apartments, and the zoning focuses on use, not the ownership. Here is where the things get interesting for regular folks in Metro. If you are sitting on a decent sized lot in Oklahoma City Metro, you now have a new strategy to house an aging parents, helping a kid boomerang back from OU or OSU without moving into your old craft room, or creating a long-term rental to offset your mortgage. Compared to building an entire duplex, adding an ADU can be a more affordable way to help into the equity you already have in your land. You do still have to play by the city process. Step one is a residential building permit, plans, inspection checklist, their whole grown-up homework packet. And then you can actually start construction. If you are not sure whether your address even qualifies, you can look it up on the city's UTA map and check if you are in the areas, urban, medium, or urban high areas inside the boundaries the ordinance covers. For quick comparison, cities like Portland and Los Angeles that opened the ADU footgates years ago. So thousands of those built, and now ADUs are a normal part of the housing ecosystem there. Oklahoma City's approach is more targeted. It starts in the core instead of all over the metro, but it's the same playbook. I mean, generally add housing without bulldozing the single-family neighborhood. So the smart move now is knowing how your lot qualified, what can your budget realistically build, and does this make sense for family income or long-term value? That's exactly what I help my clients figure out every day. I am Honorata Gruzewski, Oklahoma City realtor. I do the homework. I track the rules and run the numbers so you can make the smart moves without the stress. If this information was helpful, follow along.